Personal story segment tonight. President Obama visiting a mosque today, the Islamic Society of Baltimore. Speaking to congregants, he said this.
If we're serious about freedom of religion, and I'm speaking now to my fellow Christians who remain the majority in this country, we have to understand an attack on one faith is an attack on all our faiths. And when any religious group is targeted, we all have a responsibility to speak up.
With us now here in New York City, Ebony Williams and Monica Crowley. So that strikes me as an anti-Trump thing. Because there hasn't been really, I mean, there have been some isolated incidents by nuts, all right, but no concerted effort to demean American Muslims other than Trump saying, I'm not letting Muslims in here. That's what I think this is all about.
I agree. I think it's political because the timing on this, why now? Why is he doing it now?
Yeah, why is he doing it now?
And look, in that last line when he says when any religious group is targeted, we all have a responsibility to speak up. Okay, I accept that. But hate crimes and threats in America happen with far more frequency against Jews than they do against Muslims. Where is he on that? The second point is, where is he on the Christian genocide happening across the Middle East? Tens of thousands of Christians are being slaughtered at the hands of Muslims, and yet very little from this president on that.
What do you think, Ebony?
He should be consistent in his messaging and his actions.
Well, look, I think you're both right. Clearly, this is responsive to what the president and some feel is divisive language by Trump and even Dr. Carson, a bit higher scrutiny for Muslims, and this is responsive in this way. I think what's unfortunate, though, about the visit is his objective, which is to kind of coalesce and remind us that we have a religious tolerance here in America. It's undermined because of the mosque he went to, which is rumored to be tied or suspected to be tied to extremist behavior.
They had an extreme imam back in 2003.
Right.
So that's 13 years ago.
Sure.
The statute of limitations on extreme imams run out.
Wait a minute. The Islamic Society of Baltimore has a long record of supporting radical Islamic causes.
Give me an example.
Well, they've supported the Chechen jihad. They've supported Palestinian suicide bombers.
But that was a long time ago.
They did have an imam that was linked to a charity or active in a charity linked to terrorist funding, which was shut down by the Treasury Department, Bill.
I don't think it's fair.
Exactly, you know.
And I'll tell you why.
This is not the best place for him to go with this message.
I don't care where he goes, and I'm not saying this is the best place or not. But 13 years ago, look how many Catholic church has been embarrassed by bad priests. So you're going to say, because a priest was there 20 years ago, that you don't go there? Come on.
The vast majority of the mosques in America are funded by Saudi Arabia. Most of them have their ideological and spiritual guidance coming from the Muslim Brotherhood.
You got to be specific, not general, or it's not fair.
Monica's actually making my point, though, Bill, that even though it's been 13 years ago, for many in this country who, and I think legitimately can make the distinction, right, between law-abiding, patriotic Muslims and those that are extreme and cause terror amongst all of us, they're able to make it. But when you even give the margin for error around it, I think it doesn't help the cause as much as it could.
I don't care whether he went to this mosque. What I do care about, though, and I think the stronger point is the anti-Semitism against Jews, all right, much more intense than against Muslims in this country, and the Christians being persecuted overseas by ISIS, so we're going to contain ISIS so they can still persecute Christians. You know, you don't launch a holy war, but you make a bigger deal out of it, because when a president visits any church or any place, it becomes a big deal, Ebony. It becomes a centerpiece.
Sure, and this isn't the first time. You know, George W. Bush went to a mosque 6 days after 9/11 because, again, there becomes a knee-jerk reaction to tamper that, you know, inflamed.
And that was a noble thing.
And that's fine. If that's the message he wants to put out there about tolerance and diversity, especially in the Muslim community, there are plenty of Muslim organizations in America that don't have this kind of shady kind of background. Places like Dr. Judy Zasher's organization, which is the American Islamic Forum for Democracy. These are Muslims, Bill, who want to reform. So the president should be supporting the secular Muslims who want a reformation in Islam rather than these kinds of groups.
But in his defense, I don't think he intended to kind of be controversial, but I do agree that he could have picked a place.
I don't think he cares.
I think he cares.
No, I don't care. I don't think he cares about food. He doesn't care about food.
How about this? You know that the White House was not going to send him anywhere without vetting it. So obviously they thought this place was appropriate for a presidential visit.
They don't care. They just go, here's what they go. Oh, Fox isn't going to like it. We don't care.